Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and I'm joined by Savon Jones, aka Captain Bonnie. This is episode 223, and we give our reaction to the first episode of House of the Dragon Season 3. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back to Confidently Wrong. It's me and Savon, but no Brian today. He's across the globe. Yeah, he's in Guam. Probably just sipping some kind of fizzy drink with a little umbrella on it.
Oh, absolutely. Drinking it out of like a fruit, like a hard fruit.
He's not resorting. He's visiting family. So probably just chilling at the crib.
Just enjoying, I don't know.
Brian, we miss you. Come back soon.
Go Knicks.
We'll see you on the next one. Oh, yeah. We haven't talked since the Knicks won the championship. He was psyched. But he was bummed because he didn't go to the parade. I think they clinched while he was on the plane.
Yeah,
I think he flew on Game 5.
Yeah, he left right. So, but congrats, buddy.
I do want to mea culpa there a little bit. I did not think the Knicks had a chance in hell from the beginning of the playoffs, and then they just went on this epic run. That included them just taking out, all the teams in the East pretty handily, and then
he was beating the brakes off them people.
Yeah, and then pretty handily taking care of the Spurs. I mean, the Spurs had the lead in all of the games in the fourth quarter at some point, right? And maybe down to like the last 5 minutes or 2 minutes.
The games were close up.
They had a lead, but they put it together in crunch time. So Jalen Brunson, Kat, Anunoby, you guys, hat tip to you guys.
Shout out to Tom Thibodeau. He was never going to win with that team, but he gave them boys that defense and endurance they needed to go for the long haul.
He was there for them.
Yeah, well, he was there, Mark Jackson. Yeah, he's there, Mark Jackson. Like, hey, we need someone to get some defensive and grit identity and get that going. Then we get in a real coach to actually play some basketball. Like, hey, they got like great defense and then prison ball offense, and then it's like, okay, let's actually get some real offense going. Something you have a theoretical dynasty. But we're not here to talk basketball, and this isn't even like a filler kind of like we trying to chew the cud episode. This is some big shit, so we might have to cut this down a little bit, Wes. Because I'm sure we've scared away the people here for House of the Dragon, but that's what we're really here to talk about. Season 3, House of the Dragon.
So season premiere just happened last week, which we were looking forward to in some ways. I think I was not as looking forward to it as maybe Savon was, but once it dropped, I was like, whoa!
I knew this episode was coming. I was like, oh, we're getting the battle. At the end of season 2, I was like, oh, we're getting the Battle of the Gullet as the opener. Okay, cool. I was set back then. I was like, we good, baby. Like, it's about to get juicy.
Yeah, we'll talk about our I just re-listened to some of our season 2 finale.
Oh, you went back.
I did, and a lot of the things that we said, I think you were proven to be right, and I also still agree with the way that we had that conversation. So we'll recap that a little bit for those of you who don't remember. But
thank you for validating me. Saying you're proven to be right. Like I got lit up. I was like, you know what I'm saying? It's just what I do, baby.
You had the foresight. Let's say you were the new Paul Atreides here.
I mean, I'm also reading the books, so it's not pretending like I'm a clairvoyant.
Yeah. So 2 years. It's been 2 years, right? Since
2 years, bro.
Seen House of the Dragon. Rhaenyra, Alicent, Aemond, Jacaerys, Jace. All these guys, Corlys, right, in the mix. So let's talk about this, because did you have season 3 expectations? Because honestly, I did not. I had forgotten all about season 2. I had remembered like bits and pieces of, things that had happened. I knew, I just know there's like the Team Green, Team Black stuff going on. But as far as like the nitty gritty of like how the last season ended and where everybody actually was in their geographically and tactically, what was going on. I actually couldn't remember any of that stuff, and it sort of snuck up onto me. Somebody kind of mentioned like, oh, House of the Dragon this weekend. I was like, oh, really? Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's check that out. So my expectations were fairly low. I think emotionally, I felt like a little bit disappointed with season 2. I couldn't remember the details about why. It sort of felt like kind of things were kind of the same, and I was just like, let's get on with the story a little bit here. And so I think I had fairly low expectations about what the season opener was going to be. and that was not what happened at all. We started with the biggest bang of bangs that you could have in a Game of Thrones show, I think. So pretty awesome stuff here. Savon, what were your expectations going in? Because you have read the books and you have a better memory than me, so you probably had some idea of like, okay, here's what's coming, here's where the people are, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back even to season 1, things are more or less following what I kind of would have expected the format to be, which was, well, less expected was the first season being entirely like just build up, right? Like, hey, this is the decades before the main conflict even starts to show how things get set up. So I was always a fan of season 1 being very good for just building out all the characters, their motivations when they were younger, how they even get in here. And the war has like decades from now. What is this even for? I enjoy it. And then we talked about how for season 2, it was like, okay, now we can actually get the present day conflict rolling because we had to dedicate the first season to set up so that we could be invested in the stakes, which again, I thought was a good call. And so my expectations and 2 did a good job of, despite my complaint of Damon kind of not having a lot to do that season because he's mostly just acid tripping in Harrenhal, I enjoyed that season, including the action. We got some dragon battles. Like, we had some really dope shit happen that season too. But for 3, for me, it was just like, especially with how we saw at the end, it's okay. 2 was the real start of the show in terms of the main conflict. So it's not surprising that the war hasn't hit its full crescendo when that's the real start of the story. And again, I remember saying this last podcast. So 3, in that sense, is already like hitting what I expected it to be of, okay, cool. We've done all of the building out, all of the understanding motivations, all of the chess pieces, past, present, all of that. Now we are fully in this conflict. There's nothing else to set up anymore. Like, we're done setting up. We're here. And I'm very happy with that. Several payoffs or things set up from last season are either following up and we're getting more of it. And it's conflicts that are building up in a way of, cool, season 2, the highlight was us getting a really good dragon battle. Season 3 is going to be even more of that, just because again we're in full swing right now. And so I'm aware there's a lot of fun moving parts and plot lines that are going to end in either chaos or madness. And book reader or not, I think most people can look around and say, oh man, we're here, we're in full swing, shit's happening. But again, I was hyped for season 3 because I knew we were going to get the gullet as the opening battle for the new season. I say, okay, they're going to hit the ground effing running. So they kind of had me motivated already, but they executed very well. It's easy to say we're going to do this dope sequence. It's another thing to make it.
You didn't think there was a possibility that they'd have a few episodes in between before we got to this?
Because at the end we saw the ships, them setting up the Triarchy battle at this season 2 finale. We literally see the ships going off into battle. Like, it was clearly a setup of like, yo, this beginning of this next season, we're getting right into it. Because everyone was sailing into active war. In fact, one of the critiques, but one of the notes I heard about the episode, which isn't wrong, is that this felt more like the finale to season 2 than the opener to season 3. And that a lot of the narrative payoff was from things that already happened, right? Like, the entire sequence with Sheepstealer, we had seen her go up, I think it's Rayla, go up to Sheepstealer at the end of the last season, and then it kind of picked up right where it was, the ships being out, and then it going right into the battle. So if you're someone who didn't watch it with a 2-year gap, it's kind of a seamless transition. But, the only note I have is that this probably could have just been the finale to season 3. But, hey, I mean, it's the finale to season 2 because not really a lot of time has passed narratively speaking. Like, we're kind of picking up right where we left off. But I'm not tripping. The episode was great. I knew it'd be a dope battle, but it was easily one of the best, like, battle sequences in Game of Thrones I've ever seen. And we keep saying that because they keep upping the ante. But I've given a long answer. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It lived up to my expectations, and I have a lot of high hopes for this season.
Okay.
Entertainment value at the bare minimum.
Well, as you can tell, we're just going to jump right in. Spoilers, no recap of the episode. We assume that you have seen this.
One episode, y'all watch that shit.
Yeah, it's a long one. It's over an hour.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a whole movie basically, or it's the climax of a movie basically. So I think we should go back to our conversation from season 2 because pretty much all of what we talked about for that episode, I mean, I feel like 80% of what we talked about in our pod on that was basically the disappointment that especially me and Brian felt of the way that the season ended was sort of just kind of a like, okay, we're set up, here we go, and that's it. And Brian called it a music montage where like it just kind of showed where people were and then like end of story. And both of us felt like, like I get it. There's things like that cliffhangers can exist, but this wasn't a cliffhanger. It was more just like, we're just stopping. Like we're just pausing right now where we're at. And this is actually just part 1 of this season. We're about, at a point, and then we'll continue on with season 2 later at some point. And I think that makes it really hard because, like you said, this episode is actually a culmination of a bunch of threads that were happening in season 3, including like Aegon being
escaping
burned
the city
and now having to escape. There was Alicent and Rhaenyra's like clandestine meetups and how that was sort of playing out, and then Aemon's cruelty now coming to the forefront, but also his like lack of concern for people coming to the forefront,
and his fear, him being scared,
his like fear overrunning his like tactical, or his emotions overrunning his tactical like sense that he does, because he does have tactical sense. But sometimes his emotions override that. Yeah, for sure. And then obviously, like the whole Corlys triarchy setup that was happening with the Lannisters and the triarchy, and then the triarchy,
the stuff with his son, all that happened. You're right, to your point, Wes. All of these were plot threads that were the
Daemon,
last episode.
Right, Daemon getting the Riverlands to help him and things like that. The Riverland Lords and the young Tully character to help him.
Oscar.
And Oscar Tully. They then rampage through the Lannister army in the middle of the country. And so all of that stuff is all things that were happening in season 2, which like you don't get a payoff, right? You just sort of like leave it as like, okay, that's where we're at. Pause, take a break, and let's take 5, guys. But it's a 2-year break that you're asking your viewers to wait on all of these pieces that you had built up, and then now you're going to pay them off, but you're going to pay them off 2 years later. And I think I just would have rather have like even you having said, so this is what we talked about in the pod, was that you had said, hey, they're going to do this in season 3. I don't want them to be like to this battle like half-assed or like give us just a small snippet of a fight. And
okay, that's what I said. Oh, dang, that was 100%. I was absolutely right.
Yeah, you said like, hey, if they couldn't fit it in this season, I'd rather them wait until they do it next season. And me and Brian were like, yeah, but this is a television series. Why would you make this not part of the season then, right? Like just take longer and make the season an actual season rather than, kind of a half a season or a 3/4 of a season, which is what it felt like. And so I think all of that is still valid. But what you said, and credit to you, you said, hey, I think this will look better in hindsight because they're setting up for what's coming next, which was going to be this big confrontation and a big battle. And so this will make sense. You just said, hey, they got to land the payoff.
This will land. This will feel really good for folks who watch this later once it's all what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about Tyler's wife who's starting all this, who probably had no gap between the end of House of Dragon 2.
Shout out Court.
Shout out Courtney. House of Dragon season 2 and start of 3. For her, it was probably like a seamless transition.
Yeah.
But again, I'm agreeing with you. 2 years is
but I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to viewers who are watching it in real time.
Oh, it's not. It's not. I never said it was fair. It was just like but it's not like why? How could this possibly be the case? The case makes sense of like, hey, they only got so much shit they could fit in and they made a call. Whether you agree with the call or not, it's its own conversation, but the rationale makes sense. And honestly, bro, the way this episode was, shit, I'm glad I waited. I wouldn't have wanted anything less than what this was, knowing what we got. Like
it was huge.
If we had gotten anything less than this, and that was in the finale, like I'm just, it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's no right answer because then you might get a half-ass battle. You got to pick your poison. Having seen this episode, I respect the call. Had this episode not been good, I would have been a very unhappy camper of like, hey, what the hell did y'all wait 2 years for?
Yeah.
But clearly they say, hey, we got 2 years. We're going to give y'all the best naval battle, the best boat battle you've ever seen. You're going to effing love it.
I haven't seen it myself, but I hear Master and Commander is one of the best at that. So we
I
might
have to
need
check
to
it
go.
out.
We might have to go see
But
that
that
one.
was
Russell
some.
Crowe, shout out.
Mm-hmm. But no, in
So,
hindsight, that all makes sense.
but I think I'm still annoyed because I'm like, you clearly have the capability of producing a top-notch battle because you just did it.
But maybe they just needed time, bro.
Why wouldn't HBO and the showrunners give themselves the time and the budget to do that in the season that it belongs in, right? Like, I think it's a little bit annoying. I don't want to complain about the episode itself, right? The episode itself and ended up being fantastic, I think, for the most part. What I'm saying is, like, me as a viewer, I'm like, I don't know, like, I just wish that would have been part of season 2, and I think and had the same weight. Like, you have this episode, and then, like we said, a lot of times the episode after is like just a little bit of the fallout, and that makes a great season ender, and it sets up everything for the next season, right? Like, the format of how television seasons works for kind of a reason, and the way that they've split this up really, like, undercuts the whole reason for having seasons in a TV show, I think, or one of the reasons for having a TV show this way. But
let's talk about the show, though, because I don't want to get too caught up much on just how did this fit with the season we already talked about. Like,
I just wanted to say I did want to give you your flowers a little bit and saying, like, you Nostradamus this, that, like, they were going to come back to this and it was going to be in a big way. And if they did it in a big way, that it would retroactively bring our tempers down a little bit, our annoyance. And I think that's true.
Wes, you would be blown away by how many shows the viewer experience is very different based on whether you watched it live versus whether you watched it afterwards. Some people have watched Game of Thrones with no wait, and so just their viewing experience is different. There's shows like Breaking Bad where you don't have to wait. Some shows people waited years between, and other folks watched it all in one go, and it's a very different viewing experience.
It's so different.
But it's just one of those, like, hey, man, the people aren't omniscient. They aren't omnipotent. They got 8 episodes and they have a finite amount of resources to tell the story they were trying to tell. They made a call. It's not like the shit. It's not like season 2 wasn't good. But what was other stuff with this episode you were rocking?
All right. So wait, can I make one complaint about this episode? And
go for it,
everything else was
get it off your chest, Wes. Complain.
Okay. All right. I already talked with you about this.
Let's focus.
The thing that I hated the most about this episode, did you have any notes for this show? Did you think anything was, like, a little bit off?
I told you when we talked about, the only note I had was that, and it was in hindsight, was like, the narrative payoffs of this all were a little too close of a thorough line between season 2 of, like, this could have been a season 2 finale, but again, I already made peace with, like, the why that happened. My only complaint was, like, dang, I wish we could have got this at the end of season 2 in terms of the resolution of this between characters, but in terms of the episode itself, I didn't have any real notes. Like, if I wanted to be difficult, sure, but, like, not anything good faith.
Yeah. If I'm going to be difficult, I would have liked to see kind of the beginning of the battle. We see, like, the very far setup, and then we see, like, once we get back to it, like, kind of cut away. I think they go to, like, Sheep Stealer and Reyna for a while, and then we come back, and then all of a sudden it's like, the battle's on, and it's like, whoa, like, how did we engage? What were some of the things that we talked about? But I think that's a small thing that didn't have to happen.
There's just only so much time in the show.
Yeah,
bro.
I think pacing, they just decided, like, let's just drop them in. Like, it'll be more exciting. It'll be fine.
Like, we don't want to see Corliss's morning routine. Like, hey, how does Corliss wake up in the morning and get ready for a battle? How does he, like,
but sometimes that sets up the tension for what's coming, right? Like, the ominous, like, nature of, oh crap, like, here it comes, So that's a small thing. I don't think that's a big deal. It didn't, I don't think it made the battle, like, oh man, I can't enjoy this now at all. So that's a small thing. That's a preference thing. I would prefer that. The thing that I actually don't like about how they did the show or this episode was the fact that Rhaenyra got locked in her own fucking room by her own fucking guards. Like, I'm so fucking pissed about the way that they did that. The white cloaks, are they called white cloaks?
The white cloaks.
The King's Guard, right?
No. That's the guard. Yeah,
the city guard is the gold cloaks.
Yeah, it's the white cloaks.
Yeah. So the white cloaks, the King's Guard, their sworn loyalty to her. They clearly know, like, when they join her, that they're joining a movement, because she's not necessarily the recognized monarch because she's not in King's Landing, but they say she is the one who should be the rightful true thing, and they've all voluntarily joined her. Like, they've broken away from the King's Guard proper, or they've joined it and been, like, made into this King Guard. So, like, they are this unit that is specifically geared around Rhaenyra. They do not have allegiances to like a previous monarch. They're not necessarily, that kind of thing. Like they are formed specifically for her. Their whole job is to do what she says, keep her, be her guard, keep her safe, do all that. And with one small conversation, Jace, who is the prince, her son, gets the Kingsguard to lock her in her own room and disobey her orders to open up the door. Like, I cannot fathom that in this world of Game of Thrones that they've built and House of Dragon that they've built, that any Kingsguard would disobey a reasonable order like open up my door. And I know that they gave a reason for it. They made it so that Jace was concerned for her safety, sort of like that's how he framed it, but was really just he wanted his own glory and chance to like make things right and to participate and to do things. And he was sort of not trusting his mother's judgment here because she had talked about trying to make some sort of deal, or she had bought into this idea of, okay, I think this deal with Alicent can work that they had sort of talked about in season 2, where I'm going to actually avoid this battle and avoid the confrontation and get straight to King's Landing, and then like everything will be okay. And Jace felt like this was going to be a trap or something's going to go wrong, and that she wasn't in her right mind. And like, I don't give a fuck. You're 16. You're not the queen. You're not the king.
So is this you just not agreeing with what he did? Like, is this you like, hey, I don't agree with what the character did? Like,
I understand why he was trying it. I don't understand, and I don't believe, like, I don't think they sold me on the Kingsguard would actually follow through on this order. I think the Kingsguard would have been like, who the fuck are you? You're 16. Go sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
So
like, he doesn't have that power.
Actually. So
he doesn't
I think
have
that's
he doesn't have that power in this setup. No one listens to him for like orders. He like, you might say he's the prince and they need to listen to him, but that's not true. Like, they have not shown that in the thing that like people follow what Jay says at all. In fact, the reason he's mad is because he gets sidelined by other characters all the time, including his mom, that like he doesn't have that kind of influence in this particular world. And so to me, for him to be like, now I'm flexing my muscles as the prince and like, you're going to listen to what I say. And like, this is for my mom's own good. And that's what you're sworn to do. Like, I feel like the Kingsguard, it's this like 45-year-old man would have just been like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, so I'm doing what she wants, like that's how I felt like that should have played out in this world. I get that like they wanted to sideline her so that she wasn't in the battle. I get why Jace wanted her to stay home, like and not be in danger and yada, yada, yada. The way that they went about it, I don't see that the Kingsguard would have participated in that at all. Like not even a single 0% chance that they would have done that. And it just didn't make sense to me. Like there wasn't enough reason for the Kingsguard to follow Jace's command there. Yeah, that's all. That's my take on it.
So I think some of it, Wes, is some of it, I think you're just misunderstanding things that they have established in the series. Like in the series,
when has anyone really taken Jace that seriously?
So whether you take Jace seriously or whether his mom is sidelining him is a different conversation. What I can say about the Kingsguard scene and my interpretation of what the Queensguard scene is, one, we've established throughout this series multiple times that Queen and Kingsguards can absolutely go rogue and make their own call and do something, whether you agree with it or not. A defining characteristic of the show is that Jaime Lannister literally killed his king when his king gave him an order and he said, actually, man, you're too far gone, and killed him. That's why the whole effing world hates him for it, even though the world also knows his king was an effing nutbag.
Yeah.
But a key thing Game of Thrones has established throughout the series is that a prince absolutely has sway over the kings and Queensguard. The whole point of the Kingsguard and them is to protect the royal family, not just the queen/king. And so throughout the series, it has been established that princes and whatnot absolutely can pull rank and order around queens and Kingsguard. Like that's happened in every Throne series we've seen. We've seen Joffrey order around queens and Kingsguards before and after before and during his time as king to do orders. There were times in House of the in Dunk and Egg, a defining conflict of the show is that the prince has some of the Kingsguard with them, and he absolutely has the right to order them around. In fact, a defining part of their oath is that they can't defy order from him because he's the crown prince, and they got to more or less do what he say. Like a thing the show has established throughout all of its series is that the prince or princess absolutely can pull rank and order Kingsguard around and tell them to do shit. Like That's not like a maybe. That's a now whether or not Jace the character has thrown his weight around is a different conversation because he has gotten sidelined by his mom the entire series. But I don't think that's a it doesn't make sense. I think that's what highlights the tragedy of all this. Rhaenyra wanted to protect her son because she lost her other son, sending them out into shit. So she's valid and justified in that. Jace is completely justified of more or less everything he said. Like whether or not he's glory hungry is a different comment he is, but like not trusting Alicent, he's right. His mom not riding out into open battle is right because we saw in the last season Aegon did the exact thing and got wrecked for it. He got shot out the air by his brother in open battle and effed up. Like we've seen how this story plays out. But my point, Wes, is more so, regardless of whether you take Jace seriously, princes absolutely order around kings and queens guard and can absolutely tell them to do shit. And it's the dude was conflicted. It's not like he just immediately folded. He knew by following that order, he was basically condemning himself to death. And a big theme throughout this show, especially with Rhaenyra and Alicent, is that a lot of the women lose autonomy because of men around them who decide that they think they know better and want to make decisions for them. And regardless of how you might feel about the execution, that was, I think, the point they were trying to make. Rhaenyra's queen, but the men around her still feel like they know better. And she was absolutely, like, she took a massive L from that, and it really effing sucks because she, to your point, got locked in her room because her guards decided to protect her from herself. But here's what makes it good. They were kind of right. Like, Aegon went out and did that exact thing and almost died for it. But to me, it's not I don't believe it, it's not good. To me, it's, this is, everybody has a valid point, and this is going to suck for everyone because this war sucks. But like, Rhaenyra is right. She wants to protect her son. She also wants to be able to be involved and not just let people die. The son's right of don't trust Alicent, not because Alicent's a liar, because she wasn't lying, but because her info wasn't reliable. And we quickly learned Jace was right not to tell his mama not to trust her, because even if she's not lying, she can't make no promises. So he was going, like, it's not that.
To her credit, she's still trying to manipulate the situation. So
I know, but that's the thing. But that's again, that to me, that's not to me, that's what elevates the show is that, man, it's such a shit show and there's no real right answer because everybody's pulling and doing different directions and different stuff.
I have no problem. I thought that was great.
But my point is that, like, the idea of the Kingsguard making a call, basically he's throwing a suicide call of, ooh, I don't want my queen to go. Like, to me, it's very reasonable that a Kingsguard would tell their queen or agree with a call of like, no, I'm not about to let you go out here and basically condemn yourself to death. Like, because in their minds, they saw it as, hey, if Rhaenyra goes out there, she's going to effing die. And then all this is for nothing. And that's, even though I don't agree with him doing that, that's not an outrage. The idea of someone protecting their leader from their own worst impulses is like a trope as old as time of like, hey, you might be in charge, but actually, yo, you effing things up too much right now. We're putting you on ice. We're shutting you down.
Yeah.
But to me, like I said, to me, it wasn't. To me, it was this is such a tragic, this is all such a shit show, and it's going to suck for all parties involved. But I wasn't coming away from that like, oh man, why would he do that? I came away from it as like, oh man, Jace put you in an impossible situation. And he kind of has a point a little bit about protecting her from herself, whether you, the viewer, agrees. So to me, it was just like oh man, I'm really conflicted, but like in a good way, because as the viewer, I didn't know what to make of it. On one hand, they shouldn't have locked her in her room. On the other hand, they were protecting her from herself. On the other hand, it led to one of her sons dying. I'm like, I don't know how to me, the fun is going back in hindsight and thinking, oh, what could we have done differently? And being like, shit, I don't think there was a right answer. But hey, that's war. And to me, that's why I like this show. There is no, oh, we should have. This shit was fucked from beginning of season 1. Once that boy had a second son, once he had a son, I was like, oof, this was never gonna end clean. So I'm loving just the everyone's under stress and making really, really questionable decisions, because that's what makes this shit good, bro. But
yeah.
But if they just didn't sell you on it, then,
to me, it didn't. I mean, and I think the reason, or one of the things that doesn't sell me on this, right? And I think this is fair. I don't know if other people are going to agree with me or not. It sort of doesn't matter. I don't think the series or this episode or previous episodes built this up was like the Kingsguard guy or Queensguard guy, the guard. He never has appeared in this way before. Like, we don't know who this guy is. He's just some nameless guy. I think they do say his name, but like I don't remember what his name is. He's
But
not a
he's
character in
appeared.
the
But he has
show.
appeared though. He's
He
appeared all
hasn't
throughout the
had,
show.
but he's not been the one to be like, man, we really got to rein this in, or like, we really got to keep you safe.
So
and
you
like,
wanted
that's my
him to
only
be a
thing.
name talking character, bro?
I think if you're gonna make this big of a move against your own queen, you better have set that up.
The
Jace
setup
has
was
been
with Jace. Jace was the setup. The setup was Rhaenyra had been sidelining Jace for like 3
Jace
seasons.
has been set up, and I totally get why Jace wanted her to be sidelined or wanted her to be locked in the room. That totally makes sense to me, and I bought that. What I didn't buy was the King's Guard or the Queen's Guard listening to him in this particular instance, because yes, you're right, other princes or whatever royalty have been able to give orders to the King's Guard and Queen's Guard, but not in direct conflict with the monarch. And that to me is the whole reason the King's Guard exists or the Queen's Guard exists. That's the whole reason, like, that they're there for, is to actually protect and do what the Queen wants them to do, and to kind of be the force of their right hand. Like, that's their actual sworn oath and duty. It's not to just put them in a bubble wrap. That's like, these monarchs go out into battle sometimes, and they're going to have to do it. And that's what the King's Guard is there for, to protect them and do blah, 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 whatever they need to do to keep them as safe as they can be. But this world, the monarchs do fight sometimes. And I don't think that's like that's an established part of the universe that we're living in, is that monarchs do fight. So and he never explained himself. He never said like, this is where I'm coming from. He never talked through the door and been like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is how I'm feeling about this or whatever. Like, none of that happened. And who the fuck locks a door from the outside? Like, how can you not unlock the door from the inside? That makes no sense at all. But my problem is really just the King's Guard agreeing to lock her in the room in the first place. I'm like, that I just did not buy it. I'm like, there's no way in this particular context, with Jace as the asker and Rhaenyra as the one saying, you got to let me out, that I thought any King's Guard on her staff is going to be like, nope, I'm not listening to you today. Like, that did not make sense. It wasn't like he had some personal vendetta against her, or like that she had
the logic was that they
emasculated him into his face.
Logic was that they thought she was going to get herself killed. Like, I think you're overthinking it. Their logic is protect the queen. They said, hey, if the queen do this, she's going to get herself killed. Yeah,
that's his job. Their job is to protect her even when things are dangerous. Not to never let her be in dangerous situations.
Yeah, but the whole thing throughout this whole show has been Rhaenyra wanting to be more hands-on in the battle, and them saying, hey, you're too important for that. And that's not a wild thing to say. Again,
that's not the King's Guard place.
The parallel on the other side was that the other side did have that happen, and we saw Aegon not listen to his counsel, decide he wanted to go into battle, and nearly died for it. So it's not like it's this weird, like, narratively, it's clearly meant to be a parallel of like, hey, man, you can send your Dragon Rider leaders into battle, but it's not a good idea. And throughout the whole show, both sides of, but I really don't think this is worth us getting caught up on, because so much cool shit happened this episode that we haven't even kind of talked about, bro.
So
we haven't talked about the naval battle. We haven't talked about the sheep stealer stuff.
Yeah. So like,
I don't want to get caught up on this, bro.
That was like a big point though for me, because like that really changes how the battle goes, right? Because you might make the argument that Rhaenyra is a more experienced dragon rider, and so her ability to fight in the battle of the Gullet might have been different, and might not have put her in the same danger that Jace ended up putting himself in. And maybe not, right? And maybe she does put herself in danger, and that's also an interesting thing to like consider, right? What happens if she gets into this thing? And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
we saw what happens. Like people start to she starts to erode the trust around her. Like the result of her wanting to go head first into battle, we see what happens. It's that everyone around her is like, yo, that's not a good idea. And as a leader, she has when she decides she wants to push too hard, it blows up, and people start to act against her, start to not listen to her because they have questions about her judgment. Like that is what happened. But I'm saying, so in your mind, they should have let Rhaenyra go off into the fight. Like that would have made sense.
I think you could have just sidelined her. I think you could have sidelined her a different way. If you need her not to go, right? I saw a proposal. Somebody said Jace didn't necessarily even need to come back and tell her about the battle or Baela or whatever. Maybe Jace and Baela intercept or maybe Jace intercepts Bela coming back with the message and is like, oh shit, we got to go help, your dad. And they fly off together before Rhaenyra even knows what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy way to like do that without having this like bullshit happen where the Kingsguard is like, oh, okay, well, let me lock you in your room. It's just, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. So lots of other things. What do you want to talk about? There was some cool shit going on. You want to talk about the dragon battle now?
I mean, we can. I would like to.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so
talk about the cool stuff that happened. They're gonna think we didn't like the episode.
No, that was my 5% complaint about this episode.
Wes, we talked about the pacing of the episode, how it fit in with season 2. Before we have,
but the actual episode was amazing and just had me going the entire time, and the way it ends also like
So what did you think?
Peril. So okay, so the actual battle, there's two things I want to highlight, and you can play off them. The one was the way that the Triarchy was ready for dragons. They as soon as the dragons came on the scene, that they're just lighting them up, and then all of a sudden the Triarchy goes, we know what play to run now. Bring out the big harpoon, and so like they bring out the big whaling harpoons, and they've got like weights attached to them, like they know this is going to happen or that this is a possibility, and they've experienced it. They have an idea of like, okay, this is what we're going to do if this happens. That was great, and it works, right? Like they attach the line, the harpoon line to I think it's to what's his name? Veraxes? What is it?
Vermax.
But they actually don't harpoon his skin. I guess they got the harness at first.
They hit the saddle.
And then Bela's dragon comes around and chomps at the line to free him. Like, what a great like saving play. And you think, okay, like now they know what to do. Like now they're gonna turn the tide. And then they get hit again at the end of the battle. And it doesn't work this time. They actually bring Vermax down into the water, and it's weighted so that he can't fly out of the water. And Bela's dragon isn't able to save him. I think it's Moondancer isn't able to save him. And Jace goes into the water as well. And you think actually he might drown because he's like fiddling with his harness hook that keeps him on the dragon. But he frees himself.
He was not wearing armor.
He was not.
We saw some drowners.
Yeah.
We saw several people drown in that episode who did have armor.
Yeah.
He noticed,
and they don't seem to wear armor when they're riding the dragons.
They do. Some of them do. Daemon wears armor. Rhaenys, when they had the Rook's Rest battle, had armor.
You're right.
Aegon had like a full suit of armor. It got melted into his body because it got effed up so bad when he got hit with the fire. They wear armor, but
Aemon doesn't wear armor usually, and Rhaenyra doesn't wear armor, and I guess Jace doesn't wear armor. Neither does Bela, actually.
It depends, but in this case, I don't know if it's design, water, whatever, but like a clear point was made of with the sailors telling the Lannisters people, hey, your armor, you're going to regret that armor.
Yeah. That could be a downfall for you.
We saw one character drown from armor, and then we kind of got the fake out of, oh, Jace doesn't have armor. He got himself loose. He'll actually be able to like
survive, swim away.
And
they said war crime. You're defenseless in the water. We're still killing you anyways.
War crime,
so Jace,
that man had a dragon. That is a war crime.
No, well, I think
if one side has a dragon, the other side doesn't. I'm sorry as I'm concerned. We're not all bets
wait,
off.
no. I think this is true. This could be wrong. But I think, like, if you're a pilot in modern day times and you get shot down and you eject in your parachute or whatever, I don't think the other team or whatever, not team, the other, force is supposed to either shoot you or kill you at that point. Like, you're no longer a threat, right? And they can capture you and imprison you, but supposedly
we'll let the Greens and Blacks know about the Geneva Convention, and we'll have them know about what
this is a modern day thought process.
In that case, he was a combatant. Like, he was in battle. He got finished off.
Yeah, they finished him. They didn't play with their food. But I think that was surprising to me. I thought he was just gonna grab on, and then that would be the end of it, and he'd be rescued by somebody.
Oh no, he was in a live battle, baby.
But no, he was right. He happened to be right next to an enemy ship, and they just used him for target practice, baby. Boom, boom, boom. And he turns around. He's like, what? What is happening? And then he takes one to the neck. Ooh. So that was one. Just, I love that interplay with the dragons. And then I think the best part of the episode was Corlys navigating through the teeth. So did you enjoy the dragon battle? I thought this was the right mix of like dragons and people battling, and you got to see like how the Triarchy boards different things. I just love the way that they set this up and the mix of like kinds of things that were happening within the battle. It was playing out in the sky, it was playing out on decks, it was playing out hand to hand. Like there was just a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is why I'm glad this episode got the runway and the focus and dedication that it did. Like, this was a clear we're putting all our energy into this for this episode, not splitting our attention. But a lot of things I appreciated. The things I appreciate with the battle. First of all, I love the Vermax fake out death. Book readers know that Jace dies in this battle, but they had several fake out moments where you wonder,
is he gonna make it? Are they gonna change it?
Because at first I thought, they're gonna kill him right at the start of the battle, because he does, like, that's how he dies. He gets hooked into the water and shot. But there was a part where I'm like, dang, they hook him right at the start of the fight, and then of course he gets the Moon Dancer save. So some things that stood out.
Love that teamwork, right? That they've like practiced.
Love the CGI and just the dragons, and they've done such a great job of making all of the dragons feel very unique and distinct. I particularly am a fan of how they animate Moon Dancer. I think in the books, Moon Dancer is described as like an extremely agile flyer and being a really, really like one of the most graceful flying dragons that you'll see. And they really sold me on that in the visuals in the fight. The twirling, the dive bombing, even just in that sequence with the 3 dragons, that dragon was clearly the most graceful and skillful. And, you know, it takes a lot of good work and care to really make each of these CGI creatures feel unique to themselves. Contrasting that, I loved how they did the design of Sheep Stealer, of just looking like a street dog, right? Like a street mutt. The underbite, the jutting out teeth, the chunks of mottled skin and missing scales, and
He's been
it just
through
looks
it.
like
he's had a life.
It's funny because the rest of the dragons have grown up with humans and people, so they, even the older powerful dragons, are still like they've known people their whole lives, so they're like these pedigree poodle purebred dogs. And then this Sheep Stealer is just like this mutt pit bull off the street that's been eating out the trash, and you try to adopt it and you realize you bit off more than you could chew. But the dragon design, I'm a really big fan of. And then just the tension of when Sheep Stealer and Reyna show up to the battle, and I haven't been on the edge of my seat like that in a minute, because one, it was a really good book show change. That doesn't happen in the book, that them and that dragon, her showing up like that. So I'm just watching, I'm just like on the edge of my seat the whole time, because I don't know what the F is gonna go wrong. And it was just tense the way they're trying to figure out, hey, oh shit, it's a girl, we can't kill her, this dragon's going nuts. The way Sheep Stealer, to the point, is so ungraceful, crashing into shit, attacking whatever, flipping out, having a basically overstimulated. But a lot of really good visual storytelling they did with just making the personalities of the dragons and their riders stand out. Again, to your point, the teamwork between Bela and Jace was great. I know they're betrothed, and like there was a moment of like, man, I really like the chemistry. They really built up their chemistry, frankly, over the seasons, and it's sad that it went out the way it did. But they've endeared me over time, and you know, what a sad way for Jace to end. And then as far as the naval battle is concerned, Corlys has always been a character I've been a fan of in this show, mainly because he's a little more complex than some of the others who are just either just monsters or, you know, they're just awful. He's someone who you don't feel bad rooting for.
Yeah.
And I just love his arc, and his arc continuing where he's working things out with his son. But what the highlight to me was that Alan does not like him, understandably so. But man, it was so nice to see that Corlys has been hyped up as this legendary sailor the entire show. We see his ships, his fleets, his treasures, and like, it's not that I didn't believe the hype.
Yeah.
But man, they gave him a chance to really flex, and it was so masterfully done. Again, I'm not going to pretend to be a ship expert.
No.
But I know enough about ships to know that it's a group project. It is a team effort. Everybody has to be, it's like a football team.
All hands on deck. That's where this comes from.
It is a football team where everyone has to be doing their job, their role. And oh my goodness, they really sold me on Corlys' leadership in terms of the announcing, the calling things out. Him and Alan working like Penny and Shaq, Colby and whatever, name your duo, Cheney Bush, just making shit happen.
Cheney Bush? Oh my God.
I'm just naming duos, man. But they were cooking, and it was just so fun to watch. Just all the naval terms, them frankly making it accessible enough to where even a non-ship person could kind of still follow. Oars up, losing weight. They dropped the little things in the water. The water's this deep.
Yeah.
All that shit was, oh my goodness, it was so good. And then there was one moment where I think,
and they made it so stressful, right?
What made it stressful? Yeah, they were getting actively pursued. But it was dope to see Corliss just be like, all right, the dragons are here. Cool. This is our plan. This is okay. We're going to do this. We're going to lead them through here. I'm Corliss.
I know the psychology of Lohar, right? Like he knows if he leaves, she's going to come.
She hates me. I'm the sea snake. I'm built different. But then the same note, him having his breakdown when he see his castle on fire. Like, he had a whole...
She knew his psychology too.
That whole just like sea battle between them was such a fun subplot within the episode not even subplot, but a fun thing to watch. And then to nail it all home, when Corliss gets knocked into the water and
in his armor,
and again, the armor. And then you see Alan flip out and announce father for the dude he actively has not fucked with for all of the show. But you could see him earning his respect during that ship battle. Because I think all of us were sitting there like, dang, Corliss is kind of nice with it. like there's that part where he tells the dude, just gently put his arm on his shoulder. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Kind of moves
like that's his job. That guy, the pilot's job is to pilot the ship, right? But he's so skilled and so experienced. He says, for this one, I think you better let the Admiral ride this one out.
But he was so chill. But he even just like, even him being chill, him saying, hey, he didn't like shit on him. He didn't, no, I got it. He was just,
I got this.
Meanwhile, the pirate lady is flipping out, doing the exact opposite. But like, there was just so many
ways of doing it.
There was just so many levels to that I really enjoyed watching. Again, in hindsight, I can say, man, I just don't want to live in a world where we didn't get that. And so I'm okay with how they did this, because I just don't want a condensed version of whatever this could have been last season. Like that was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Like, yo, what the F is going to happen? And
it's funny. I think some people, this is not me, I think some people could probably criticize that as like, why would any of these ships leave the main battle to like do this weird pursuit? But it's like, I bought it because I was like, this is personal. Like, the reason they're doing it is
why. If you
I was like, these two are personally like after each other and they want to come out on top, and like they know how the other one works. And so like their strategy is 100% based on like, I know this person and I hate them, and like this is what's gonna like get me the win here, right? And I don't know.
War psychology, Wes. I mean, every battle we've seen in pretty much the whole series, right? And even in other shows, half the logic behind the battle is, okay, what is this person's temperament? How do they behave? What's important to them? Do they want to take the city or destroy the city? Do they want to, are they like scorched earth, or are they trying to protect something? But like, my point, they did a good job of just balancing out it's a battle, but there's other objectives and stakes at play that makes it interesting. And even just like you could say, your girl Raina just being a wild card and effing everything up was just like, man, it all comes back to, something we've said, Brian, we all pointed out since the first season. They don't control these damn dragons. Viserys said it in the start. They think we control these dragons. We do not control these dragons. They are beasts. Kristen Cole himself said it. This war makes beasts of all in the end. And this episode was like a big theme was turning into a beast, and who listens and follows orders. The people who didn't listen paid for it. Your girl Raina with Sheep Stealer, Jace with running off and not listening to his mother. And then Alan did live because he kept his cool and did follow directions and orders. I'm not quite sure I don't know if that should be the takeaway, but like that was a cool little thematic, like this is a theme of like, yo, why y'all not listening?
Yeah. I think too, one of the things that we like about action movies is when battles and conflicts show the characters, right? Or show us something about the characters and like they're there for a reason. It's not just because the battle needs to happen, but because like you learn something about the character while they're fighting, or that the battle is symbolic of something else, right? Like there's more to it than just, oh, these two things clashed and like it was just a physical fight. Blah, blah.
The fights develop the characters and actually like move them forward.
And I think this one did that for Alan for sure, right? He's had this, month run up of I'm having the ear of Corliss now, and I've been able to express why the fuck I hate this dude so badly, right? And like why I have this animosity towards him. Corliss having to reckon with, oh, I fucked up here, right? And like him acknowledging that a little bit, I think he acknowledged it in the beginning of this episode, like maybe I should have done it different, right? That's the apology you're gonna get from him. He didn't straight up say like, I'm so sorry,
I
like
mean, he was
that was
trying
my
last
bad.
season too. Like last
Yeah.
season, he was trying too, but also it was because Laenor died. But that was the other thing. He only cared about the boys once his true-born son was dead, which
Uh,
also made shit
well,
worse. Because
and with his wife dying, right? Because
yeah, that's right.
his wife was trying to get him to be like, those are your sons. Like, I know they
Yes,
weren't
you're
with me
right.
and they're not legitimate, but like they're still your sons, and like you should still build bridges there, right? Like they're your family. Which is like kind of graceful, right? For someone to be like, hey, you cheated on me with this other person, and like
Well, for her,
but
it's more about them than her, right? Which she was always a
that's
really dope
magnanimous though. I
character.
mean, yeah, that's not
She's a good.
common for Game of Thrones characters to do that, right? Like a lot of characters like
I mean, they do. They just
fuck
die
all of
like her.
But anyways, I think like that buildup of like your wife is asking you to do this, your family is asking you to do this, your own son is breaking inside because their sons, both of them, right, are breaking inside because you haven't done what you were supposed to do as a father, and Corlys having to reckon with that, and finally, right, their moment together of like this is a shared experience of us in battle together is finally what caps off Alan's understanding of like, actually, I did need a father. I do respect this man enough to be like, I'm tied to his, his fate in some way.
You can respect why he's good at what he do. It's like one
Yeah.
of those. Oh, this is why he's the legendary sea snake.
Yeah, but I don't think it's just that, right? I think that helps, but it's also the fact that he did say like, I did care for your mom, right? He
Yeah, but
acknowledges.
he wasn't healing in the moment though. Your boy still wasn't trying to hear that shit.
No,
In
yeah,
fact,
yeah,
in fact, it got interrupted because the battle happened, and he heard a bunch. Like they were trying to have
yeah.
a little heart to heart, and before they could finish it, then
But I
they
think that
started
does mean
hearing
that some of
sounds
that
of battle.
landed,
Oh, 100%. I'm just
right?
saying it
Like,
didn't finish landing during the battle. You
yes,
could see it crystallize of like, okay,
100%,
he's
which I love.
remorseful and he's kind of nice at his job part
Yeah,
too. He's trying and he's good at what he do.
yeah,
I guess
and
he's I'm
yeah.
getting endeared to him.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like
Mhm.
begrudgingly, but at the end, when he says father, it's like,
He
oh,
yelled
like,
out his name. He called him
yeah,
father.
yeah.
That was
So
real.
I love that like in the battle, we're getting these moments of like, we know who the characters are, we're seeing how they act, and it tells us something about them. We learn about Lohar and how she acts and how she commands and what she's actually after, right? And she proves Alicent right. Alicent, way back in season 2, said, you cannot make an allegiance with the Triarchy. They are going to do their own thing, whether you like it or not. And they're not, it's like the dragons, right? They're not really going to be under your control. And nobody listens to her because nobody listens to the wise women in the show. And then absolutely turns out to be true, and it cost Lannister his life, and he gets kicked out into the ocean.
Actually, that's a good point, Wes. Back to the whole not having control. I didn't even catch that. Like, that's another building into the whole people trying to control forces that they don't actually are able to control. Which we have to highlight this. Going back again to the control part, man, I didn't think they'd have another scene where I would just be visibly saying no, 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 no.
Why?
But
What happened?
Eamon, oh my goodness, you somehow managed to do
Oh,
it, bro. Shout
I
out to
forgot
the
about
actress.
this.
Shout out to Olivia Cook. That
She
was
did
some
great.
god tier acting of like, I think she never have. That was a rare moment where I'm like, I think me, Tony, everyone at home watching, and Alicent and the actress Olivia Cook were all just like, damn it, we have truly lost the plot. And you can even see her eyes going through like I don't know how I'm gonna. I gotta keep him in line, and I really don't want to have to go through this. And it's like, man, what if can I just have one normal relationship with the men in my life? The answer is no.
No.
But oh my,
God.
But Aemon's madness and just how cracked he is, but it makes sense because man, they really are digging into his whole just inferiority complex, mommy issues. He never got over losing his eye as a kid. Like it's one of those. It's gross and I hate it, but I understand it, which is arguably worse because I understand how we got here. It doesn't make me happy,
No.
but it just makes for such a fascinating character who's like he's despicable and you don't like him, or getting into Homelander territory of like you're awful, but man, a part of me feels almost bad for you because you were a victim of circumstance, but also, dude, you gotta reel it in.
Well, yeah.
He's giving Homelander vibe, not even just with the mommy thing, but just the whole power inferiority complex. Like he's a very I don't like him, but he's always interesting when he's on screen. I'm never bored at his scene.
I like though that he's powerful, but not all powerful. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's an insecure child. They said it. He never knew fear. When he's the guy with the biggest dragon in the land, who is probably one of the most also mentally and emotionally insecure, weak characters. It's a really
he does know fear, which is like interesting, right?
Yeah, but you say he didn't know fear until recently, and that's only because he got, he realized, oh shit, I've always been the big kid on the block with a dragon, but when everybody else in the playing feels a little more even, suddenly he's a little more
vulnerable,
aware of his mortality. Like, he's the big bully who wants to fight, but is also afraid of getting punched. And at the same time, his mom is trying to lure him into a trap because she realized, he's too far gone. We gotta.
He cannot lead. He cannot lead this kingdom.
He cannot lead.
So she's trying to manipulate it, which like is a lot. What I loved about this, right? And I think you're pointing this out, is Olivia Cook or Allison is trying to manipulate him, and she needs him to do a certain thing, which is she needs him to go to Harrenhal because she needs him to vacate the premises so that Rhaenyra can come in and not get slaughtered. Because she's like, this is the plan, and like now I just had my best friend, and I told her this was going to happen, and now I'm putting her into a death trap.
It's so messy, bro. I love it.
It's like,
it's
oh
so
shit.
Messy.
So she cannot actually piss Aemon off. She has to get him to do what she needs him to do. And so when she gets kissed, she's like,
you can see her eyes darting all over. She was like, oh shit, I don't know what to do, bro.
She knew what to do. She was like, I have to let this happen, and I hate it, and fuck me.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
she
knew what to do.
Yeah,
and
you're
like,
right. She did.
She was like, I have to take this one for the team. Like, what the fuck is happening?
And team she don't even like.
I know. And
I don't even like this team.
And then she has to, put on a good face until he leaves, and then you can see it just cracking.
Break
like,
down.
Right? She's like,
such good acting, bro.
Yeah.
So good.
So I think the fact that like she had to let it happen and couldn't slap him and couldn't be like, I'm your mom, like, that's a crazy position to be in, right? For her to be in a position where she can't, as his mom, be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, when she saw him on the throne, she saw that he was being childish at the moment, and I think she realized this is my chance to get my, because he was kind of.
She didn't think she would have to kiss her own son.
Yeah, no,
to make it happen.
Of course. Oh yeah, of course. But I'm saying, but like, you could see how it went from, okay, he's on the throne, Aegon's gone. He was suspecting her of shit, and she told a really good lie. It was a very good little cat and mouse. They're both trying to lie, get stuff out of each other.
There was some peril there for her for a minute.
Yeah, just like, because she's like, oh, my son's so unstable, he killed me. But no, actually, he's not in a violent mood. He's in like a spoiled child mood. Let me see if I can take advantage. But it spiraled out of control, and it's like, man, this is just, it's just good. It's juicy because you just don't know what is going to happen.
Well, I think it's crazy too because she didn't have to like. I mean, she didn't have to bear with the kiss, right? She could have chosen a different path, but the reason why she's doing it is not actually for her own gain at this point. It's for the betterment of the kingdom, and so she's putting the betterment of the kingdom ahead of letting her son kiss her. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, she also, I think she realized at a certain point that I think she realized even last season, oh shit, I raised a bunch of monsters. And I think part of it, this is like, maybe some of this is her wanting to almost like absolve herself, or this is her penance of like,
yes,
I've raised these sons, and
but now it involves her having to tickle his most monstrous,
Yeah, and that's what makes it wild. Is that this shit is spiraled so out of control. And it's like, oh, she knew her son was like depraved and sick in the head, but there's
not this.
Shit. On a less sick and depraved part, one other thing I want to highlight before we wrap it up.
Okay,
I'm really excited that we got the white wolves, the winter wolves, the Northmen. Just the idea of a bunch of Northmen who were like, it's winter, we're old, we're here to fight and die.
Were we supposed to know about that context?
Yes,
did they explain it in the show?
Yes,
I saw that on YouTube.
When Jace went to the north to negotiate an alliance with Cregan Stark, the Lord of Winterfell, in their conversation, he was asking for soldiers. He said, we can't spare our young because of winter, but I'll send you our white wolf, whatever. Basically, all their old veterans who say, hey, we're going to send our old veterans because winter's coming. There's not a lot of food. They're going to go specifically so that there's more resources for the winter for everyone else. They're going to fight, and it's a one-way trip to die. Like, I think that was a season 2 conversation.
Yeah, they will never. Oh, okay.
He basically
they explained. I saw on YouTube they explained it as they voluntarily leave because they've had their time, and knowing that like the resources are going to be scarce in the north, they leave Winterfell and they go and fight for good or whatever. And
it's a one-way trip.
They never come back. They don't have to die, but they never come back.
Yeah, you heard them say we're here to die for the Dragon Queen. They didn't say fight for the Dragon Queen. They said die for the Dragon Queen. This is a one-way trip. But just the entire premise of just a bunch of old veteran dudes on a one-way trip, just ready to get busy, throw down, fighting. It's just really cool. Like, I don't need it to be some deep, meaningful thing like the other shit. This is just like the 10-year-old in my head, just like, oh, a bunch of just grizzled veterans here to fight to the death because they're just old like that. I'm like, that's effing cool. I don't need it to make sense. I don't need it to be
And they're clearly
deeper.
good, right? They took down one of the Lannisters.
Mm-hmm. Look, I don't need the logistics of, well, how does the actual food and granary in the north, they can feed them? I don't care about that shit. I just like this regiment of old dudes here to fight to the death. And I just thought, okay, cool. This is just another cool. I hope we get a good balance of like them trying to tell the deeper story of the betrayal, the politics, the allegory for like women, losing autonomy and all this war shit. Like, I'm glad we're getting that. But I hope they continue to temper it with, hey, it's not meant to be super deep. This is just a cool battle. Or, hey, these are just two cool themed armies with their motif or whatever, and they getting busy. Like the Triarchy. They didn't need to make it deep. There are a bunch of the really outlandish pirate people who aren't super refined, but they're very motivated. You don't need to make it too much deeper.
They're very motivated.
Give them cool, I mean, in terms of like deeper motivations, like they're very straightforward. Like, it's not deep. It's, we don't like this guy.
Yeah.
F this dude. I'm like, all right, cool. It's not deep.
And we like to have fun while we're doing it, right? Like,
and we talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
They had a ship that it was called the Bitch Fist. And I'm like, yes. Like, give me serious Game of Thrones, ha 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 ha, but also give me the Bitch Fist and a shit talking pirate lady going into battle to get revenge against her like arch nemesis guy.
Yeah.
Like, give me a good mix of that. But also and lastly, shout out to Raina. She might have effed up that battle, but man, the acting was so good. She really sold me on how she just realized, oh man, this whole situation is so foobar right now that like someone sent me a picture of Raina covered like in soot. And they said, if I'm sending you this, it means that I tried to help and I made things way worse. Shout out to like the actress did a good job of just selling me on the fear, the terror, the realizing she effed up, just like the really, really good acting. It's going to be really sad to see the aftermath next episode of her trying to explain herself.
Yeah.
But, it's, even though she
finally got a dragon, right? Like, she was supposed to have Vhagar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peter Quill level bag fumble. It's gonna go up there in the history of like, ooh, what are some of the biggest bag fumbles you've seen on TV? It's like, J.R. Smith losing track of the clock. Whatever the hell,
Falcons.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, whatever he did.
Oh man.
Peter Quill smacking Thanos
with
the gun when they had him beat, and then we're gonna put up there, contender Raina taking that dragon into the battle with a gullet.
I do agree, and obviously it caused a lot of problems. I would also say that it's also possible they would have got Jace even in the normal course of battle, because those pirates were prepared, and I give them enough credit to say, even if Raina hadn't been there, they still had a shot at taking him down. But I think like it adds to the more like, oh, this is chaotic, and it provided more openings for the pirates to land the harpoon and all of that good stuff. So
I mean, in the show, and then she straight up gets him killed.
Yeah, and that tension of, oh, are we actually going to kill each other, right? Like, that's also possible that, like, Raina might have killed Jace, or Jace might have killed Raina, or Bela, or, like, there's all these things that are happening, and then it ends up being that, like, she throws all the balance off, and that's what allows the pirates to take advantage, and they harpoon the dragon.
Jace got shot while he was actively trying to avoid Sheep Stealer and, like, Sheep Stealer chasing. This wasn't like maybe it made it worse, Wes. He got shot because she was actively distracting him. At first, they were doing fine. Even the moment where they were in a little bit of danger, he got saved. Like, that, they were going to handle it. They had that shit handled. Like,
you think so?
Sure, on paper, he could have gotten hurt.
The fact that they got harpooned once means they could have got harpooned again.
Yeah, but, I'm just saying, not in terms of, like, sure, theoretically, anything can happen. I'm saying from, like, a narrative perspective, the writers clearly wanted to make it clear, he got shot because he got distracted with girl and her shit coming in.
Yeah, and he was trying to save Bela, right?
Yeah, because they had when he did get shot, those two were able to hold their own pretty well and were, on the up and coming, only when it's third party. So, like, sure, on paper he could have died, but also I do like that they made that change, because I think in the book there's more dragons in that battle.
I think the other 3 dragons were there.
No, 100%. They saw the book brought them to Harem. So a change that the show did is that in the book, I think Damon is still at Harrenhal, but they got him out of Harrenhal because they need to give his character more to do. In the books, he's just at Harrenhal, tripping balls. But it's a TV show; you got to actually have characters doing stuff. And so season 2, Damon's just like, because the storyline, he really is just at Harrenhal, but it's kind of boring. So they moved him out to give him more active stuff in the war, so that he's not just sitting around twiddling his thumbs, waiting for Aemon to show up at Harrenhal, basically. But then they didn't want to have them believe that Harrenhal was unprotected, so they sent them there, the Dragon Riders, and then that was their excuse for them to not be at the Battle of the Gullet, because I think that many dragons would have been a little bit like actually messier storytelling wise to keep track of just all that happening. Like keeping it to 2 dragons and then one kind of rogue
chaos agent
was actually a really good, like, okay, I could see how if we had 5 dragons, this would actually start to be a bit hard to follow and too much happening. So, a little irrelevant
detail. It
detail
also takes
shows.
away some of that like sibling like issue, right? Like they're like, oh, you're gonna kill each other, right? Like,
yeah, I mean that was cool too, because straight up both times they say, "Hey, kill the rider," and then they see a turn and they're like, "Ah, shit, no, actually, shit."
And then so they pull off, but then Sheepstealer doesn't know about this this agreement.
He don't give a damn about none of that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really just enjoyed like how that all played out. I think it all worked. Yeah, just what a crazy thing. And I think Tyler's comment kind of tipped me off to this, but he was like, holy budget, Batman, right? Like they basically just spent the entire budget for season 3 on this one big epic battle. I mean, this is like Saving Private Ryan, kind of level of battle that we're talking here. And it turned out great. I think the showmakers should be really proud of themselves for what they did. And, huge respect. The rest of the season is probably just going to be everybody talking in one room in a castle because they can't afford to go on any more locations. But
well, you say that, but I'm like, there's some certain shit that I know is happening this season. That's like, all right, they must got some extra money in the budget because these other things have to happen. Also, keep in mind, like, we have a bunch of dragons still in play. We know what the fate of the dragons is at the start of the show. So this is also one of those, like, all right, we know more or less how some of this ends. So, like, we still got a lot of people and dragons alive. So, like, what gives?
Yeah. I don't know actually, and don't spoil this for me. I don't know where this goes in terms of the monarchy part of it. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. And we do have a confirmation, I think, that season 4 is going to be the end of the show. So it'll be the end of this season, and then in another 2 years or so we'll get season 4, and then that'll wrap up the entire thing. So we're really coming down to it, to seeing how this plays out. So no more setup, all gas, no brakes, baby. All right, we'll come back to this at some point, maybe midway through the series or maybe at the end of the season, and talk more about Game of Thrones. We'll see or House of the Dragon. We'll see what Brian thought of it when he returns. Next up should probably be Supergirl, and then we'll talk about Spider-Man. What's it going to be called? A New Beginning? I don't know what it's called. What's the new Spider-Man movie called?
I don't know. New Day, New Dawn.
Yeah, Brand New Day.
I don't know.
Brand New Day.
Spider-Man, Brand New Draws.
And then we'll probably also check out not Oppenheimer. That's a different Christopher Nolan film. We're gonna check out The Odyssey, which is seems like it's gonna be a pretty epic series or epic show, movie, whatever it's called.
Dang, epic is that you trying to be cute?
No, it wasn't, but it is actually the epic, right?
But you're trying to be cute.
All right, friends. We're out of here. Don't hit us up on @confidently_pod because apparently we don't monitor the Instagram anymore.
We still do. I'm trying to get it going again. Look, man, look. We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out. We're also on YouTube @confidently wrong pod. So, friends, we're out here. See you later.
I made a post today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Amazing. I haven't seen it yet. I'll check it out. See you later, guys. Bye. Go Lakers. Get a big man. Walker Kessler, we need you.
Get Jalen Duren.
I'll take him too.